Getting over a breakup, how to move on. Understanding the process of trying to win back your ex begins with acknowledging the very real pain of heartbreak. The feelings you are experiencing are completely valid. When we form a bond with someone or fall in love, our bodies undergo significant physiological changes. Specifically, our neurotransmitters are activated in ways that can be quite profound. Instead of saying they eject, let's use the term release. When we are in the presence of someone we care about, our brains release endorphins, which create feelings of happiness and pleasure. This reaction is similar to the effects of addictive substances like cocaine or heroin, as they stimulate the same areas of the brain. Therefore, when a relationship ends, it can feel akin to going through withdrawal from a drug. This is a genuine experience, and you may feel it deeply in your heart. The changes happening in your brain chemically influence your emotional state, which is why it's important to validate your feelings during this time. This leads us to an essential first step, recognizing that you will likely need to undergo a detox period lasting between 60 to 90 days, much like someone recovering from substance dependence. Research suggests that it typically takes about 30 to 66 days to overcome those initial, often irrational emotions tied to a breakup, depending on how deeply you are attached to your partner. Therefore, it's crucial to mentally prepare yourself for this detox phase. The stronger your emotional attachment, the longer this period may need to be. If you find yourself watching this video, it's likely that you should brace yourself for a detox period closer to 60 days. So, remember, a 60-day detox is a realistic expectation as you navigate through this challenging time. As we progress through the subsequent steps, we'll delve deeper into what this entails. Step 2 in the process of winning your ex back revolves around a crucial commitment, embracing the role of the most convincing actor you've ever been. This isn't about being inauthentic, but rather about fully embodying a mindset that may not feel entirely natural at first. Essentially, you'll need to adopt a persona that might not align with your current emotional state, one that steers clear of the heartbroken, desperate, or overly clingy ex-partner. Instead, you're stepping into the role of someone focused on reconciliation, not pushing your ex further away, which is likely what happened in the first place. Now, let's move on to step 3, or tip number 3, resist the urge to reach out. I understand the impulse to contact your ex, to explain your feelings, or to apologize, but it's essential to refrain from doing so. Any communication at this stage may come across as desperate or needy, which could be counterproductive. If your ex has decided to leave, it's often because they need space and distance. The more you pursue, the more they may feel inclined to retreat. So, the key here is to avoid contact altogether. You might be wondering, what if she reaches out to me? A valid question we'll address as we continue to navigate this process. Let's dive into step number 9, so make sure to stick around for that discussion. If you found step 3 challenging, brace yourself, as step 4 could prove to be even more demanding. During this crucial 30 to 60-day detox period, it's essential to completely refrain from any form of cyber stalking. This means no peeking at her social media profiles, no liking her posts, and absolutely no commenting on anything she shares online. For the duration of this phase, you should act as if she has no online presence at all. While it might be tempting to check in on her, if you do find yourself looking at her social media, it's vital to keep your actions discreet. Liking or commenting on her photos, memes, or selfies sends a clear message that you are still engaged and paying attention to her life. At this moment, any sign of interest can feel overwhelming to her. She needs her space to breathe and reflect. It's important for her to feel that you are focusing on your own life, rather than fixating on her. Therefore, avoid all social media interactions. No likes, no comments, nothing at all. It's as if you no longer exist in her world. This leads us to step 5, providing her with the necessary space she requires. But how much space is that? Essentially, she needs enough distance to genuinely consider returning to you. If she hasn't reached out, initiated contact, or shown any signs of wanting to reconnect, it indicates that she may not be ready yet. In this situation, it's crucial that you resist the urge to pursue her. Allow her the time and space she needs to come back on her own terms. Let me be clear, trying to accidentally show up at places you know she hangs out isn't going to help you. In fact, it's the opposite of what you should be doing. You need to steer clear of those spots entirely. Think of her like a zombie who's coming for your heart, and right now, she's the undead creature who's already taken a bite out of it. Your heart is wounded, and it needs time to heal so that you can eventually move forward, whether that's with her or someone else who won't treat your heart like a snack. The key here is to avoid her completely, as if she's a threat to your emotional survival. She's already had a piece of your heart, and right now, she's hungry for more. I know this might sound dramatic, but the point is this: don't go anywhere you think she might be. Don't try to convince yourself, or your friends, that you're just coincidentally in the same place. And let's be real, you're not fooling anyone, least of all me. You need to create distance. Pretend she no longer exists in your world, and you no longer exist in hers. She needs to be completely out of the picture. This brings us to our next point. Lean on your friends and family for support, but be careful who you confide in. Avoid anyone who might go back and tell her how much you're struggling. That's not going to help your case. Remember, the goal is to make her unaware of what's going on in your life. You want to rebuild the mystery and intrigue that once drew her to you in the first place. It's essential to spark her curiosity about your life. If she becomes aware that you're still struggling with the aftermath of the breakup, it may come across as a sign of weakness. While it's completely normal to feel this way, displaying such vulnerability can be unappealing. The longer she perceives you as being in distress, the more likely she is to maintain her distance. Therefore, if you find yourself seeking support from friends and family, ensure that you confide in those who won't relay your struggles to her. If that's not feasible, it might be best to distance yourself from those individuals altogether. I understand this may sound harsh, but it's crucial for your healing process. This leads us to the next point: embracing a fulfilling life. Now, let's talk about self-improvement. This step involves adopting the mindset that you may not reunite with her, and that you might eventually want to pursue a different relationship with someone who appreciates your strength rather than perceiving you as needy. To facilitate this growth, focus on enhancing yourself. A great starting point is to get back into a gym routine. If you haven't been to a gym before, now is the perfect time to begin. Consider engaging in activities like martial arts or any form of exercise that boosts your physical well-being. Not only will working out release endorphins, those feel-good hormones that can help fill the emotional void left by her departure, but it will also improve your physical appearance and overall health. This transformation can significantly boost your confidence, making you more appealing to other women. Additionally, take a moment to reflect on other aspects of your life where you may have let things slide or failed to progress while you were in the relationship. Self-improvement is a holistic journey, and addressing these areas will contribute to your overall growth and readiness for future relationships. How's everything going with your career? Have you been letting things slide because you've been so focused on spending time with her? What about your financial situation? Have you accumulated debt due to overspending on her? These aren't exactly traits that make you an attractive partner. While she might enjoy the immediate benefits of your attention, deep down, she's evaluating your long-term potential as a reliable and responsible companion. A person who neglects their career, friendships, and physical health isn't someone she'll feel confident will be a strong partner in the future. Even if you haven't explicitly discussed your future together, subconsciously, Both of you are always considering what the long-term relationship might look like. Women often think about how you'll be as a partner in the years to come. If you're showing signs of irresponsibility or neglect in various aspects of your life, it can be a major turn-off. For instance, if you've let your friendships fade or your physical health decline, she might start to doubt whether you can maintain a healthy and balanced life with her. To win her back or attract someone of high quality in the future, you need to focus on improving all areas of your life. This means getting your career back on track, managing your finances responsibly, and taking care of your physical and mental well-being. Becoming a more valuable person involves a lot of different aspects, and I've covered many of these topics in my other videos and in my Wake Up to Love course, which you can check out using the link below. Moving on to point number 8, your social media presence. It's important to be mindful of what you post online. Avoid sharing excessive content, and when you do post, make sure it's thoughtful and infrequent. This helps maintain a positive image and shows that you're in control of your life and your digital footprint. Always aim to leave a sense of curiosity in others. It's important to maintain an air of mystery about yourself. When sharing updates, focus solely on the positive aspects of your life, much like someone who is dedicated to martial arts training. The intention behind your post should not be to show off or seek validation. Rather, it should be a subtle demonstration of your personal growth and progress. This approach will naturally attract the attention of women who might think, "Wow, this guy is impressive and intriguing. Perhaps I should get to know him better." This is the impression you want to create. To achieve this, consider reducing the frequency of your posts to about half of what you typically share, or even less. This guideline will help you maintain a sense of exclusivity. Ensure that the content you do share is uplifting and reflects your journey of self-improvement, showcasing that you are moving forward in life independently. It's crucial to understand that women prefer to feel wanted rather than needed. When you come across as someone who needs them, it can create a perception of dependency akin to that of a child. Women are not looking for a dependent. They seek a partner who is confident and self-sufficient. To truly reconnect with her, or perhaps with someone new if she isn't the right match for you, it's essential to rediscover that version of yourself. This leads us to point number 9, which is about the moment you've been anticipating. Imagine she reaches out to you. What a pleasant surprise. Now, the question arises, how soon should you respond? The timing of your reply can depend on how long it has been since she last contacted you. For instance, if you were in the habit of exchanging messages daily, and she hasn't reached out in a week, it's perfectly fine to wait a day before replying. However, if it's been a month since your last conversation, consider waiting 2 or 3 days before you respond. It's important to remember that she took her time to reach out to you, so it's reasonable for you to take a moment as well. You have your own life to lead, and you are not in a position of neediness or desperation. You are not the same man she chose to walk away from. You have evolved into someone new. It's important to keep in mind that this principle serves as a guiding rule in your life. You are now a new individual who is not dependent on her. When you do choose to respond, and you will, the crucial aspect is to avoid bitterness. Refrain from sulking or being resentful. Instead, aim to be lighthearted, playful, charming, and succinct in your communication. Even if she has treated you poorly or ended the relationship in a particularly hurtful manner, responding with anger or criticism will not serve you well. By chastising her or expressing your frustration, you risk 2 significant outcomes. First, you won't encourage her to return, as your negative response will likely make her feel bad. She will associate those unpleasant feelings with you, which is counterproductive to your goal of rekindling the relationship. It's essential to understand that this approach is not about being dominant or alpha. Rather, it's about avoiding the trap of making her feel guilty or ashamed, which can push her further away. Secondly, your communication should be crafted in a way that makes her want to come back to you. There will be opportunities later to discuss how her actions affected you, but for now, focus on creating a positive interaction that leaves the door open for future conversations. However, if you act on that impulse immediately, she is likely to distance herself once more. This doesn't mean you should avoid addressing her need to take responsibility for her actions. Rather, it's about timing. If she reaches out to you, and you still feel a spark of interest, it's worth considering that your feelings might evolve as time goes on. This is more common than you might think. At this moment, you may be experiencing emotional pain. Often, by the time a girl decides to reconnect, she has gained some perspective and realizes, "Wait a second, she's not flawless. I had idealized her too much." There's a particularly insightful saying I came across recently. If you place her on a pedestal, she will look down on you. Isn't that a powerful thought? I need to remember where I found it so I can share it later. In any case, the essence of this idea is that if you elevate her too high, it can create a dynamic where she feels superior. Therefore, if you genuinely want her to return to your life, it's important to foster that possibility. If you've reached a moment of clarity where you're thinking, "What was I even considering?" then approach the situation with kindness. Additionally, when she first reaches out, be mindful of your communication. If you express any negative emotions or feelings, she will recognize that you still care about her. Here's something important to keep in mind. Maintaining a neutral stance is crucial. She still holds a lot of the power in this situation, so it's essential to remain grounded and treat her as if she's a completely new person in your life, someone you've never met before. This means letting go of any past emotions like anger, bitterness, or resentment. You don't need to carry those feelings because you've moved on, and don't depend on her anymore. Remember this when she reaches out to you. If you're considering getting back together or just seeking closure, keep your conversation brief. Texting is best used for exchanging simple information, such as setting up a meeting time or letting her know you're running late. Avoid deep, meaningful conversations that are better suited for face-to-face interactions. If it seems like she's still interested in pursuing things, she might be testing the waters to see how you react. In that case, suggest meeting up for coffee, but make it clear that it's not a date. You can say something like, "Let's grab a coffee, but just as friends." When you do meet, you can assess whether you want to discuss what went wrong in your previous relationship. This is also a good opportunity to address her past behavior if it was immature, emotionally insecure, or selfish. Just remember to approach the conversation calmly and respectfully. If she has essentially ghosted you, you can express your feelings by saying, "Hey, that was a really inconsiderate thing to do." You might wonder, what kind of person behaves like that? This is a way to convey your thoughts. However, avoid asking, "What did I do wrong?" as it can come across as a sign of weakness. Instead, you could ask, "How could things have been different? Do you know what you were looking for that you couldn't express?" She might not be able to give you a clear answer, but she likely felt that you lost yourself in the relationship. This is a common occurrence, and she might not be able to articulate it, but that's often the underlying issue. Now, it's important to demonstrate through your actions that you have changed, as actions speak louder than words. Your recent actions, visible through social media or shared in conversation, should reflect personal growth and improvement. When you talk about what you've been up to, do so in a way that is genuine and not boastful, as women are very perceptive about the intentions behind your words. She will understand your true purpose when you share your life updates. So, maintain a cool and casual demeanor. This leads us to the next point, avoiding negativity. Stay calm, exude positivity, embrace a playful attitude, and radiate charisma as someone who is genuinely happy. The key here is to project an image that shows you thrived independently after the breakup, more so than she has without you. This approach can naturally pull her back toward you. Does that make sense? You're aiming to demonstrate that your life has improved more than hers has since you two parted ways. Essentially, you want her to see that you're not just surviving but thriving, and you appear happier now than she does. You don't need to go overboard or act like some exaggerated version of confidence, such as Mr. Perfectly Cool. However, avoid falling into negativity at all costs because negativity signals an inability to cope with life's challenges, and that's something women tend to avoid when considering long-term partners. Positivity and happiness are magnetic qualities. People crave that kind of energy. They gravitate toward those who bring light and optimism into their lives. If you embody this type of joyful, fulfilled person, someone whose life is full of exciting pursuits and progress, it will be far more appealing than if you came across as lost or incomplete without her. Let me ask you something. Do you think appearing lost or dependent on her for your happiness is attractive? It's not. Instead, you need to take ownership of your own emotional state and well-being. That's part of being responsible for yourself and your future. Alright, let's move on to point number 11. When you engage in conversation with her, it's natural to feel a sense of curiosity. However, it's important to remember that you should never resort to begging or trying to use logic in your discussions. Women often approach relationship decisions based on their emotions rather than logical reasoning. This is simply part of how many women operate. Therefore, if you attempt to rationalize your actions or explain why you did what you did, or why she should consider returning to you, it may only push her further away. In essence, there is no room for rational arguments or logical explanations in this context. Instead, focus on discussing aspects of your life that present you in a positive light. This isn't about boasting. Rather, it's about casually sharing your achievements and interests. For instance, you might mention that you've taken up martial arts, are contemplating going back to school, have finally asked for that promotion you've been delaying, or have started a new online business. These are all impressive topics that can spark interest. However, be cautious not to dwell on these subjects for too long, as it can come off as self-aggrandizing, which may inadvertently signal insecurity and a desperate need to impress her. The key takeaway here is to adopt a mindset where you genuinely feel that you are thriving and improving since your time together. This is why it's crucial to engage in a period of self-reflection and personal growth, often referred to as a detox. By focusing on these areas of your life, you will cultivate a sense of authenticity that resonates with you, rather than merely following advice from someone like Anna, your wingman, to distract yourself from constantly overthinking about her. I understand that this tendency to overanalyze is common, but it's perfectly okay. To help you move on from thoughts of her for a while, it's essential to engage in other activities that can occupy your mind. Over time, these experiences will start to resonate within you, leading you to realize, wow, I really am a great person. I'm quite the catch. And you truly are a great catch. Don't forget to check out that other video I mentioned. I'll include a link to it below. Your mindset plays a crucial role in this process. Now, let's discuss the 12th tip for rekindling your relationship with your ex. When you find yourself in her company, take the opportunity to reminisce about the enjoyable moments you shared together. Instead of expressing sadness over what you've lost, bring up those happy memories in a lighthearted way during your conversations. For instance, you might say, "Do you remember that time we did that?" and share a laugh about it. This laughter is not just a pleasant experience, it also triggers the release of endorphins, which can enhance your connection. The key takeaway here is that logic often takes a back seat in relationships. What truly matters is the emotional connection she feels when she's with you. If you can make her laugh and spark her curiosity about the new you and the life you're building, she will likely be more inclined to consider the possibility of rekindling your relationship. If you reach that stage, it's important to approach it with a fresh perspective. Take things slow and don't rush into anything. You might even find it beneficial to date other people while you're exploring this renewed connection with her. But that's a topic for another video. If you're interested in exploring that topic further, feel free to let me know, and I'll add it to my list of upcoming videos. Now, here's a bonus tip that could be a game changer for you. If you're really struggling and find yourself torn about what to do in a difficult situation, consider hiring a coach. There are many talented coaches out there who specialize in helping people navigate relationship breakups, and their expertise can be incredibly valuable, especially when time is of the essence. Imagine receiving a message from someone, and you're not sure how to respond. What do you say? How do you handle it? That's where a coach can step in and provide guidance. Investing in a coach, even for a short period, can be worth it if you're really invested in this person and want to avoid making things worse. Here's why. While this person may have lost emotional attraction to you over time, it doesn't mean you're inherently unattractive. It's possible to rebuild that connection and create a new, healthier relationship dynamic. Unlike situations where someone may never be attracted to you, in this case, you've already proven that attraction was there in the past. The key is not to let things spiral further. A coach can help you navigate those uncertain moments and make decisions that align with your goals. So, take a deep breath, stay calm, and avoid making impulsive decisions. Remember, you're valued, and you deserve to come out of this situation stronger. Many of the people I've worked with who successfully reunited with their exes had similar struggles, but with the right approach, they were able to turn things around. You can too. I know a situation where someone gave a relationship a try for a bit, only to eventually part ways. Then, there was another individual who, after about 3 weeks, found himself really struggling in his relationship. He was going through a tough time, no doubt. But then, fate had something else in store for him. He met someone new, and this person turned out to be even better than the last. By the time his ex-partner came around, showing some interest in rekindling things, it wasn't quite enough to convince him to give it another shot. By then, he was already invested in his new relationship. This scenario illustrates an important point. There isn't just one perfect person out there for everyone. If you find yourself struggling in a relationship, it might not be the best match for you. Even if the issues stem from your own actions, which led to your partner wanting to leave, fixing those problems doesn't guarantee they'll return. It's a harsh reality, but it's true. They might not come back, but the journey of self-improvement will make you a better person, and you'll be ready for a healthier, more fulfilling relationship next time around. So hang in there. You've got this, and you'll come out stronger on the other side. Thanks for listening, and remember, everything will be okay.